Good evening, colleagues, and thank you for inviting. So I will sharing some experience of my resubmission, in fact, but this one is also applicable to new applications. So since you will learn maybe from my mistakes and the problems in revising this the submission. So I will address two parts today. I will address the problem of the speaker's first submission of the FDS proposal and their amendment in the second submission. And I will share what the reviewer considers as merits. Since you can consider this one as a case study, but I will make it subject general. So I hope the tips will be applied to your own subject. So this is my project summary. So this is the title of the project, A Grammar of Niesu, a southeastern dialect of North in Sichuan. So this is the language, understudied language in Sichuan. So for your information, there are many languages being used in Sichuan. Over 30 minority languages being used there. So a lot of linguists work there. And the duration is 36 months. That's the maximum length of the FDS proposal. And then this is the amount of the fund, so it's fully funded. And the panel rating is 5 points out of the 5 points. So, but still, it looks perfect, but still with some weaknesses. The reviewer also mentioned some weakness in the proposal. I made a table to for you to have a straightforward comparison of the first submission and the second submission. For those who familiar with the submission, you know that there are 3 parts in FDS proposal, altogether 14 sections. And 4 of them, I consider 4 of them are core sections. And for the others, they are more or less formalities. But we should also be careful in these formalities. I also made mistakes in filling the forms. And you can see that from this table, I have problems in almost all the 4 core sections. And if you are submitting a new application, you do not have, you just have 3 core sections, and that means everything has been covered here. So the major revision have been made to the 3 parts. Okay, regarding topic, research, background of the research, and research plan and the methodology. Okay, I will address each of them. So after you submit your proposal, and then you will get being rejected, if that's the case, then you will get some reviewers' comments. And so many of you here are very experienced researchers. So to address reviewers' comments is just like you address the paper you submit to the journal. So first of all, you may need to summarize and group all the comments. And then, according to the comments, you will correct or revise the proposal. And if no change is intended under some particular suggestions, you can just clarify it, saying no change is made, but I will provide you some information why it's not changed. Well, why we need to do this? Eventually, you will find in the FDS proposal, part 2, there are 2 questions, and you will make use of what you have summarized here to address these 2 parts. For example, this one is, so your summary done by step 1 will be used for this part. And for this part, you address each problems in detail. Okay, so the first problem with my case is about the research questions. But in general, it's, okay, this is a particular question raised by the reviewer, but it's quite subject specific. I try to make it general. So here is some of the suggestions from this part. The research question or the scope should be specified. So you can think that, you can see the change of the topic here. So this topic can be considered as a subtopic of this one. So that means I extended the research topic, the research scope. So the reviewers challenged that why some features are studied here but not the others. I didn't, in the first submission, I didn't talk about it adequately, so it gets challenged. So it's fine if you just have 1 or 2 research questions, as long as you specify it, I think it's okay. So I think some research topics, questions may eventually be answered by a book, and some may be answered by 1 or 2 important papers. So that means you have a different research scope. As long as it's been specified, then the reviewers will appreciate that. And how can you specify that? I think it's subject to a few feasibility considerations. So mainly about time. So the time is how much time you need for the proposed topic, and how much time you have spent already on this proposed topic. And also, if you relate to existing resources, if you have some thinking on this topic, that means you have some resources on this proposal, such as data, okay, such as some published paper. And so I changed in larger scope is because I get more data. After I got rejected, I keep on doing it, and I got more data, and I improved my understanding of this topic. Okay, so that's why I feel confident to enlarge the scope. And the second problem is with methodology. In my first submission, so my suggestion for this part is applicant should write up the methodology section to demonstrate his or her sufficient knowledge of international disciplinary standards and reference, along with his or her innovative techniques, if any. So in my subject, we do have some international standard regarding the methodology. So sometimes people may take it for granted. So you think that the other people may know it. Yes, the reviewers will know it. But my feeling that not mentioning these international standards to the reviewers means that you do not know these international standards. So even though you think it's fixed, it's some practice, international practice, you should also write about it, justify it. So I suggest that writing about this section in this format, what to do and why you do it. So for the why part, some of the why part is your own thinking, and some of the why part is about disciplinary justification. So we always need to justify some methodology, okay, why we need to do it. Okay, the third problem with my first submission is the challenge about the previous experience. I think what they mean is I do not have adequate understanding of this topic. So, of course, I got rejected, but my suggestion here is it's better for the applicant to keep on pursuing relevant research, if not founded right away, so that publications or more resources can be demonstrated to convince the reviewer of the improved understanding of this topic. Well, for this part, you can see, you can see that I have a significant increase of the words about the revision of these two parts. So after I got rejected, I keep on doing it. Upon the time of the second submission, I got more data. And I also, luckily, I got one more paper being published. So in the second submission, I can write up these two parts in a more sophisticated way. Okay, so I proved to the reviewer that I got more data, and then I got more understanding, a better understanding of this topic. And then what a reviewer considers as merits. First of all, the proposal is better to be a solution to an actual problem. So it can be a solution to a theoretical problem. It can be a solution to some applied problems. Then so the reviewer said, I have the impression that this is a resubmission. It seems that the author benefit from this process. Indeed, I benefit from this process. I got more data. I got a better understanding of this topic. And so I think for this part, what the reviewer considers as merit is improved understanding of this topic. And then it's about the clarity of the research output. This is what the reviewer said in the report. They say the two research outputs are perfectly chosen to be accessible not only for a researcher, but also for students. What I put down there is are some tentative paper titles. I think it's clear for the reviewer to expect what will be produced from this project. And they also mention the budget and plan. So they say well conceptualized, well justified, and well planned. So my feeling is that we need to justify every important figure in the budget. For example, if you need to pay someone in that amount, so you need to say why the money is, for example, 1,000. Probably it's based on the monthly salary of the city. Probably it's based on some policy documents. Okay, so we always need to justify those important figures. So that's what they mean by maybe well planned. And then they seem to appreciate what they say, a steadfast and abiding commitment to the research endeavor and a continuation of previous research. Like I said, I got rejected for the first time, but then I continue to do it. Even sometimes I need to use my own money. But luckily I got some fundings from our institute. And finally, they also appreciate some training opportunities for students. And I explicitly put down this in the proposal to show that this project benefits the researcher, at the same time will benefit some student. Okay, so to summarize, I would say for a resubmission or for new submission, it's better that we can show or can prove to the reviewer we have a good understanding or an improved understanding of the proposed topic, and then convince the reviewer of what they called a steadfast and abiding commitment to the research endeavor. Okay. Yeah, that's everything I want to share here. Thank you very much.